Welcome to the interview. I'm Dan Hollander. Happy to have Lawrence County Director of Schools, Johnny McDaniel, with us today. Good
Dan,
to see you again.
Yes, sir. It's great to have you here in the office with me this morning.
Obviously, we're going to be talking about education and hearing a lot of discussion recently about the need for new schools. I know people are pepped up about this and
Yes.
want to get involved in some areas of Lawrence County. In general, what's caused the need for these better and larger facilities?
Dan, when I came to Lawrence County, the board had already voted on a growth plan. It was developed over about 5 years with the architect Cotts Binkley out of Mount Juliet. They've been serving as architects here for a long time, and the board really wanted a long-term plan of how do we address the needs of a growing community. Our buildings are growing older, and you really, with a good growth plan, you have a plan to replace older buildings with newer buildings over time. That's just a good business model to follow. The board had voted to move forward with that plan before I came, and the first part of that plan is to build a new high school in Summertown. Summertown is a community, an area that's really growing right now. I think most people listen to the news and they know that the Nashville area is one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing area in the nation. I believe the Murfreesboro area is the fastest growing community in the United States. So that whole Nashville growth impacts outlying communities like Franklin, like Murray County, Spring Hill, Columbia. And I think what we're seeing is a growth down into Lawrence County, particularly on the north end. You see a lot of manufacturing jobs up in Murray County, like the GM plant. GM added 2,000 jobs on one line, and then they decided to expand another 2,000 jobs, and then all the ancillary jobs around that. So we believe that some of the growth is being spurred by the growth that we're seeing out of the Nashville area. It's cheaper to live in Lawrence County, to build a house in Lawrence County, than it is in Murray County. And one of our board members, Miss Brenda Jacobs, she and her husband do a lot of electrical inspection on new homes, and she claims that there's really a lot of growth up in that north end, and that people maybe need to wake up and realize that it's time to get this school built.
Yeah. So what are we talking about size-wise for the school and things like that?
Then the building that the board had decided to build in the original plans, we expanded it a little bit. We were going to build an 800 student school up in Summertown, and as we talked about it as a board, some of the old buildings on the campus we weren't going to move to the new campus. For an example, the CTE, the Career and Technical Education buildings that were on the old campus, the thought was, well, maybe we can leave those classes there and we'll move over. And as we talked about that more and the need to really have a little bit larger facility, we decided to move those CTE buildings, include them in the new growth plan at the new site, and have everything on one campus. To me, that just makes more sense. We don't want to bus kids from one campus to the old campus. Even though it's not much of a bus ride, it's a little more than you can walk to the old campus and back during a regular period of the day. So we've moved those facilities to the new campus, and that's going to make it about a 1,000 member school. And we hope that that will accommodate some of the growth. Right now, we're growing at Summertown Elementary School. We're at 700, and really the building was built for 600.
Yeah, I was going to say that's about elbow to elbow.
It is. This year, today, we have a building up on the stage in the gym. That's the art class. The music teacher is on a rolling cart. She doesn't have a place to hold her class. She moves to an open class when the teacher's on her planning period, and so we're just accommodating. We've accommodated some of the closet space, turned them into offices or reading rooms, utilized all the space there. When we build the new high school, the plan will really help the elementary school, because we will move the 6th grade to the old high school, because the old high school will become middle school. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So the 6th grade will move out, and that'll give space at Summertown Elementary School. It'll give more space at the high school, because right now we've got the 7th and 8th grade on campus with the high school. We'll have a new high school, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade at the new campus. So that will give us some room to grow over the next several years.
Yeah. Did it take you a while to get this in your brain? This one's going to move here, that one's going to go here, and this one won't be here at all.
Well, it's really moving to what is a more accepted model across the nation. In most communities, most schools are pre-K, maybe kindergarten through 5th grade, maybe pre-K is on campus. In Tennessee, particularly, you have K-5 schools, and then you have middle schools that are 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then high schools are 9th through 12th grade. We're just moving to that model. That's something the board has wanted to do. This building program, really, that's part of the plan, that we would move to the middle school model. We do have some schools right now that are K-8 schools, and going to a middle school really gives those students who are becoming young adults, it gives them more opportunity to be at a secondary opportunity versus an elementary opportunity.
So it's not just Lawrence County is having this change and ways to figure out how to do this better.
Dan,
Everybody.
I think most of Central Tennessee right now is experiencing some kind of growth, and the change is part of that growth. You know, one of the things I like to, if you look in nature, God created us in a way that in nature, if it's alive and growing, it changes, right?
Right.
And it's just a lesson for us in life. If we're alive and growing, we're going to change, and if our community's alive and growing, it's going to change, and change is part of life.
Yeah. These schools are going to be first class. Right?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Yes,
you wouldn't
sir.
do it any other way, would you?
No, it's going to be a beautiful facility. Cots-Binkley builds a lot of schools here in Middle Tennessee. If anyone's ever been up around the Mount Juliet area, they can see their schools everywhere. Mount Juliet Elementary School, High School, those are some of their buildings. And I think that the community will be very proud of these facilities, and they're going to serve our students well.
Yeah. When we think about Summertown and Loretta, any time frame for having the completion of those? Or?
It'll be 2 years by the time the county commission votes for us to move forward. The county commission, really in Tennessee, they're the funding body. The board has asked for the schools to be built, and we've been in dialogue with the liaison committee, education liaison committee with the county commission. We've been over and explained to them that we've got some older buildings that we need to do some work in, and we would really like for them to consider letting us borrow the money to do those renovations. We have some equipment that's 30 and 40 years old, and the savings in our energy, on the energy side of things, would pay the payment on that.
Wow.
So we would like to do that retrofitting of a lot of our lights. It would improve the air quality in all of our buildings, and we would replace some of the HVAC units that are really outdated and really costing us a lot of money to run. So we'd like to do that, and that would help all of our students, and then we're going to build these new schools. If the commission votes to do the new school, and they're talking about it in the next budget cycle, then from the time they vote, it would be 2 years before we'd be in the building. It takes about 18 months to really build the school and to be ready to move in. The codes for a school are different than your home. That's why it's going to always be more money to build a school. When you have our precious treasure of children in that building, it has the strictest fire code regulations and how you build it, the air quality in and out today, lighting regulations, all of that's a component of what you do in a school building. And if you think about it, that's what we'd want. We want the best for our children.
How about local schools preparing students for success at the college level? Has that changed recently or past year or two?
I'm going to say over the last 10 years it's really changed, Dan. Back in 2007, if you'll remember, Tennessee changed the way we look at high school graduation. Back before 2007, we had two paths, one vocational, one college prep. And the state legislature voted that we were going to eliminate the two-path system and that we're going to have high expectation of all students, because most jobs today require something beyond high school. Back in my day, my dad's day, high school education was great. You know, I grew up in a blue-collar family. My dad worked for the phone company. He was actually selected to go to the Air Force Academy, and when he got there, he couldn't pass the physical. He had a heart murmur. They sent him home. So instead of going into the Air Force Academy to college, which would have been paid for, he come home and got a job with the phone company because that's a good job. Yeah. He worked there 48 years. Ooh. The phone company, they trained him. He had an excellent education, an excellent career through the phone company. Yeah. Well, those jobs are hard to find anymore. And today, really, most industry, manufacturing, technology jobs are looking for training beyond high school, so we've really got to do a job of getting them ready to graduate high school, ready to take the next steps in life. So we've been focused on college and career readiness in Tennessee for a while. In Lawrence County, we do a great job. Actually, we've been recognized of what is called setting students up for success. We're part of a study here in Tennessee where we're looking at what we've done in Lawrence County to increase dual enrollment. In other words, when students are still in high school, they're taking college classes, particularly at Columbia State. We have one of the highest enrollments for dual enrollment in the state of Tennessee. And so the state wants to know, well, what are you guys doing? Well, part of it is we have a beautiful facility on the campus of Lawrence County High School. We have a strong alliance with Columbia State. We have a strong presence of the Tennessee College of Applied Technology, the TCAT programs. They're on every campus in Lawrence County where our students can take high school courses, a TCAT course, or a Columbia State dual enrollment course. So we have a lot of our students involved in the next steps while they're in high school, and that's the model Tennessee is really promoting, that we have our students ready to take the next step either into a job with an industry certification, or into the TCAT to get that 2-year degree, or into Columbia State or the 4-year college where they can go on and get their education and really pursue the career they want.
So they really have more choices of which direction they want to go.
And it's our job to show them what those choices are. And I believe, to answer your question, I believe we're doing a really great job of this today. We realize that's part of what we have to do in secondary education, is get them ready for the next steps of life. We say college and career ready. I heard someone say it this week. We want them life ready. You know, we want them ready to take the next step in life, whatever that may be, to really pursue what that dream they have in their heart, the career that they want to pursue.
What do you foresee in the future for education? Go any direction you want to go, but
well, thank you for asking that question. What I see are the kids that we serve every day. And Dan, I am optimistic about the future because of our kids. I see happy, smiling children who love each other. And I am just refreshed when I go into the schools and see kids eager to learn and happy to learn and enjoying being in school. It just somehow satisfies something way down inside to know that, you know, we look around the world and the world seems to be an unsafe place, but we have some children coming along behind us that when they're in charge, maybe they can do better. And if we can have a small part of helping them be good people, smart, educated, ready to take on the world and change the world, then that's what I believe my job is as an educator, to help them fulfill what they believe they were created to be, and to fulfill their destiny.
You want to talk a little bit about health and education. And I guess they go together, don't they?
Well, they really do. You know, a sick child, it's hard for a sick child to learn. And if a child is sick, then they really need some health care. They really need to get better so that they can be in school and learn. If they're out of school, they're not learning. So we're really focusing on health and education and how those two connect. We have a nurse in every school in Lawrence County. This week I was privileged to go up to Nashville to be in a meeting that Dr. Friss, former Senator Friss from Tennessee, the Friss Foundation, the SCORE Foundation, Nashville Health, come together to bring people together to talk about health and education and how we can really work together to provide health care and preventative programs in schools, educational programs that talks about healthy lifestyle, exercise, good nutrition, good food eating habits, all of those things to be part of the educational process so that we have happy, healthy people. Happy, healthy students are going to learn more and do better. We believe in movement in the classroom. We know that you just can't sit and get. You've got to be up and moving a little bit. Recess is important. PE is important. Time out on the playground. It's important for kids. I think today we understand that more, and there's really a good conversation in Tennessee right now to make sure that school systems and healthcare providers are working together trying to help our kids be healthy and learning at the same time.
Good. Interesting thoughts. Appreciate your visit. And if people have questions,
yes, sir,
should they call your office?
They can. They can go online. They can find our website. My email address is there. If they want to email me a question or call the office, be glad to respond, be glad to talk to them.
That's great. Our guest today, Johnny McDaniel, Lawrence County Director of Schools. That's the interview. We thank you for watching.